People are still flowing in, so we'll give another 1 minute and then we'll get started. We already have a question, and it's one we have a wonderful answer to, so I'm going to answer this. It's not about Percipio, but they're asking about access to Pluralsight through Navigar. And will it be some kind of filtered down version, or will it be full access? Oh, it's full access. It's everything they've got, just like Percipio. Everything they've got. Whatever you want to learn, we have it. 1 more minute. Okay, everybody, let's get started. So welcome to this info session about Navigar and Percipio. The rules of operation, the chat function has been disabled. So please ask your questions through the Q&A section. Also, ironically, in the chat section, I have put a link to a document that gives you step-by-step instructions to accessing Percipio and also GoFluent, which is Percipio's partner for language training. If you have any questions about GoFluent, we'll all do our best to ask them, but we did do a GoFluent webinar a couple of weeks ago, and it's available on the navigar.ca/support through those pages. Okay, so today we have with us Will Piskorowski, Irish name, I think, who is with Percipio and is going to give us give you all the information you need about what Percipio can bring you. So with that, I'm going to fade from the view, mute my mic, and hand it off to Will.
Thank you, Peter. Appreciate that. And thanks, everyone. Really appreciate you all attending and taking the time out of your day to do so. So I'm going to jump right into it, share my screen, and walk through Percipio with you guys. All right, there. And I'm just going to turn my camera off too while I do that. All right, so assuming you guys can see my screen all right. Peter, you guys see my screen correctly?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure. I'm used to Teams, and Zoom's always a little different for me. So, all right, so appreciate it. So this is your Percipio platform. Once you log in as a learner, this is the home screen that you will be presented with. The very first time you log in, you'll actually be presented with a screen that looks very similar to this. What this is a skills and areas interest. Allows you to kind of hone some areas that you might be focused on interest in learning. So you can look at some different areas in here, choose some things that might be of interest to you, and be able to hit next. You don't have to choose anything. When you first are brought to this initial screen or that initial screen, there is an option to skip that. So you can avoid having to go through this step if you would like to. Once you choose some sub skill sets here, it will allow you to save that or to basically confirm your settings. Once you do that, you will then be brought to this home screen here. So the way the home screen is laid out is to make it very accessible, very easy to find focused learning for you. So you can see one of the things that we've highlighted here is the GoFluent content, as Peter has discussed with you. Down here is also content that's going to be related to where you are and what you might be doing. So recent content that you've recently accessed, courses, content, whatever you might have accessed recently, you can view through this carousel, or you can actually view all your learning history on the platform. You can also access live learning that's available on the platform. So Skillsoft Percipio does offer occasional boot camps and live leader camps that you have access to, and you can access that through the live learning calendar accessible here. Skill benchmarks, we'll talk about in a second. Playlists allow you to come in and save content for later, create very specific playlists around content you're learning to focus on. An example might be, project management or leadership basics. As you find content relating to those subjects, you can save them into a playlist to be able to add to later, as well as setting your own personal learning goals. You can come in, choose how much time you want to spend in a week and a month, basically to have learning, and allow you to set those goals and see how you can achieve those goals as you go through those. Based on those selected skills that you chose when you first logged into the platform, you will have content highlighted to you based on those things here. So you can see things around collaboration, corporate communications, customer success, design, and security across all modalities on the platform. So there's courses, there's books, audio summaries, as well as the Skillsoft KC simulator, which we'll talk about again in a minute as well. So again, home screen is designed to make it very accessible, very easy to find all of the content that you might be looking to access, as well as your learner menu over here on the left-hand side. We also want to make it very easy to find things like what's new on the platform, new content. So you can see things around generative AI, see around all the courses and content we have focused around that. Join a boot camp or leader camp, as I discussed, those live courses. You can find that live learning calendar here. Or you can also follow one of our curated learning journeys that basically take you through different areas, such as things like first-time managers, generative AI, cloud, and things along those lines as well as being able to focus on your skills, your strength, and close your gaps. So when learners come into the platform, often they have a focus that they're looking to learn around. They may not have necessarily a gauge as to what their current learning level looks like, so they want to be able to expand upon that. They can do that through skill benchmarks. So loading up the skill benchmarks here, you can see all the areas that benchmarks are available in and be able to browse through those different lists, as well as certifications that are supported by the benchmarks and Aspire journeys. So as I was mentioning, benchmarks are essentially a way for a learner to come in and gauge their understanding over a specific topic before they start to dive into content around that topic. So if we look at an example here around finance and budgeting skills, if I open this benchmark here, I can see exactly what it's all about. I can see what my skill rating is going to look like. As I answer the questions correctly, my proficiency score will go up, and so will my skill level. I can see what this skill benchmark is all about, the topics that are covered in it, and what the benefits of taking a skill benchmark look like. Once I've completed this benchmark, not only will I have a score that I can use to understand what my level of understanding around this topic is, I will also have some focused content recommendations for me around areas that I miss. So any questions that I answer correctly, it's not going to recommend content for me in those areas. It's only going to recommend content for me in the areas where I answered questions incorrectly. So this is a great benefit because I know that any of the learning that I take that's recommended around this topic will be focused in areas that I don't understand. Once I've completed the benchmark, I will also be able to come back after a specified time of 14 to 30 days to be able to retake the benchmark, basically to see how my skill level is increased and be able to have a better understanding of where I stand based on what I've already learned and the learning that I was able to take. Also, we have certifications that we support on the platform. So if I look down here, we can browse through all the certification organizations that we work with, the certifying authorities, and then I can browse specifically into those certifications. So I can look at an example like CompTIA and see the different certifications that are available through CompTIA on the platform. So I can find this content here and be able to navigate to that certification content very specifically and very easily. I can also find our AI simulations on the platform. So one of the things that Percipio offers that's very unique is our KC AI simulators, and allows learners to basically practice a difficult conversation in a safe environment where they don't have to worry about saying the wrong thing or basically doing the wrong thing. I can find the different types of KC simulators that we have. I can also do keyword searches to look for different types of simulators that we offer. And I can also find different durations and things along those lines to filter specifically on the simulators that I might be looking for. So I'll pull up one of the simulators here, Overcoming Hybrid Team Challenges. When I launch this simulator up here, it will actually present to me a full-on simulation here. So I have a simulator image, the avatar that I can actually change, make it more specific to maybe the situation that I'm looking for, and then be able to either have a choice of speaking this simulation, or I can actually type in and text into this simulation, whichever is going to be more convenient for me based on the situation. I also have some options up here under the menu. So I can also navigate back into different scenarios that we have for these simulations and specific scenarios, and I can choose the different modes. So we have two modes on the platform. We have practice and role model. Essentially, practice is you're in the driver's seat. You're going to go through this simulation as the driver. You're going to work as the manager in this situation and work through this dialogue with this employee. Or you can flip to role model, where you become the employee and the AI simulator becomes the manager, essentially allowing you to learn and ways to handle these types of situations. And you can also filter on behavior. So you can see the different options: defensive, dismissive, accepting, and random, and basically how the AI is going to respond in these different types of situations and allow you to work through those. So we basically have this scenario here. So I'm going to flip this over to role model just to kind of show what that looks like and basically how it works, right? So now I have a situation, allows me to go through this with the manager. Appreciate you taking the time. How are you feeling? Current work situation? It is going well. So I can type that in. It will go ahead and start to respond to that. No specific, I'm just going to say no challenges. And as I work through these different scenarios, it's going to reflexively respond to me and so on and so forth. Now, as I go through this, I will either come to a natural conclusion where the simulation will end, and it will give me basically a summary of my simulation and how I went. Or I can end this scenario at any point and choose that here. Since basically I did a very, very short one, I can go in here, I can see view a detailed report, right? So again, very short, not going to be a lot of great feedback in this specific scenario, but you can see here examples of positive feedback, examples of points of improvement, and here's some scenarios to try out based on how this scenario went. So a lot of ways for me to really work through some situations that I might encounter in my professional work environment that will allow me to kind of practice and hone my communication skills in regards. And we are expanding our collection of AI simulators, and so we will have more of those, ever releasing as we can continue to develop them. All right. As we go back through here, so again, looking at the learner menu over here is one way we can navigate through different areas of the platform. The other thing, obviously, we want to be able to do is define the specific content, right? Find content that we're looking for. And we have two ways to do that. First way we can do that is to do a keyword search. So I can come in here and I can type in something like communication. And as I do, it's going to start to, use smart search content to find what I was looking for and finish those and basically do that smart fill in for me. As I come in here, I can find results specifically for communication. So I can filter on the content types over here. So you can see here's the AI simulators we just talked about, Aspire journeys, different modalities, audiobooks, books, things along certification paths, focus on ratings, durations, expertise levels, and so on and so forth. So really, we just want to give a lot of filtering options for learners as they're looking through the content, just like you would when you're searching on any sort of commercial site like Amazon or Target or anywhere you might be looking for, searching for things you're looking for, being able to sort by best matches and things along those lines. So if I go down here and filter specifically on course, it'll allow me to find specifically the courses that we have in aligned to communication. I can find where they live on the platform in channels, which we'll talk about in a minute, and Aspire journeys, which we'll talk about in more detail in a minute as well as just being able to launch the course directly from here. So when I launch the course up, this is the course player that you're presented with. You have the course contents on the left-hand side that you can close, so you don't have to show that. You also have the option to start to take the test. So you can actually come in and take the test ahead of time to, also as like we would do with a benchmark, but specifically related to this course, to get a gauge of what you know around the specific topic and how comfortable you might feel with that content. I can navigate through the different sections as well as being able to skip forward and backwards in the content, just like I would be able to do with any sort of video player. Down here in the different options, most are pretty straightforward. You have your settings. You can change your speed, playback, quality for whatever bandwidth you might have available to you. But the thing I really like to highlight here is under the caption settings. In addition to obviously having closed caption available in the native English language, you also have the option to filter to change your caption language to a selection of several different Google Translation language options that are available through the platform. When I do that, it will still speak the course in English, but it will present the closed captions in that language that I've chosen. So just another way to make the course slightly more accessible in a situation where I may not necessarily have the native language that I might be looking for this specific course. As I look down through here, I'll find different things relating to the course as well, any sort of Q&A that might have popped up. So I have the ability to actually ask questions around this course that'll go to the Navigar team, will allow them to review and respond as appropriate to the questions. I can save my own notes and basically be able to access them either directly here from the course or from another area under my learning section. I can find the course transcript, so I always have access to the full transcript. as well as any related resources. So I have a glossary here for this course. I might have a job aid. I might have, a Word document of some resource that I can take away based on the content of the course as well. And also additional course recommendations based on the course that I'm taking. So based on what I'm taking right now, here's some other courses that might be relatable to what I'm looking to learn. As with all the content on the platform, learners have the ability to earn a badge. So as you complete content, as you complete courses and journeys, you'll be able to earn a badge and be able to share those out to things like LinkedIn and put them onto, different personal profiles and things like that. So the other way that you can access content is to navigate through the library. And this is where you would go if you kind of have a broad idea of some subjects or some areas that you're looking to focus on, and you can do that specifically. So you can see here, highlighted PIPS content. Here's the Go Fluent link to send you out to that area right here. And I can also navigate down into various skill areas. So you can see examples of what those look like, from artificial intelligence, product management, professional improvement, leader camps, the boot camps, as well as things for certification. So again, highlighting the content aligned for certifications to make it very easy to find not only that initial certification content, but any sort of continuing education credits that are available on the platform as well. Or I can just find what's the best way for me to learn. So I can follow different guided paths down here, look to advance my certification learning, do some live learning, practice conversations with Casey. Again, just try to make the site as easily and accessible as possible for everybody to be able to not only find the content that they're looking for, but find the best way of learning that they feel is best for them. All right, so when I go into a skills area, so I'm going to go into productivity and collaboration tools here as an example. I'm going to be brought to different subjects and areas here. So now I'm into productivity and collaboration tools. I can browse different areas like browsing and operating systems, design, Microsoft Office, or I can focus on some content highlighted down here. So I can see some of the newer videos and courses and modality that's highlighted specifically under this productivity and collaboration tools. If I click on something like Microsoft Office here, I'm brought to specific channels. Now, all the content under these channels is going to specifically align to this content. So all the content under here will be all about access. All the content under here will be focused for Microsoft 365 end users. So if I click in Excel here, I know that all of the content that lives here is all going to be specifically related to Excel content. So I can find, I'm going to close this admin view real quick here. So I can find the courses very quickly, highlighted down here on the technology that I'm looking for. So right now I'm looking at Excel 365, the 2023 release. I can filter for specific versions. And so this is the same, not just with Microsoft, for any technology that we have on the platform that there's multiple versions of that we can support, we will have that drop-down menu available for you to find that specific version that you're looking for. I can also go in, once I choose different content that I might be looking for specifically, I can also choose my expertise level based on my level of knowledge and what I might be looking to learn or expand my knowledge around. I can advance and move into those different areas as well. The way the courses are set up, you can take them in any order. There's no order that you have to take them in, but they are kind of designed to build upon each other. So, the idea being is that if you start at the top and kind of work your way down through these courses, you'll have a very good understanding of beginner Excel, Microsoft 365 usage as you go through that. And so again, you can pull up, this is the course player. You can choose here, you can look at the different modalities. So you can see the books that we have available here. So the Microsoft books that would be available on this topic, as well as assess. So any sort of benchmark or any sort of practice exam we have on the platform would be under this channel as well in this area. All right, so one thing I want to also show you guys here is to go down and look at the journeys. So the guided journeys that we offer, we have several different journeys really focused around business skills, technology, whatever it might be, and we have them highlighted through here. So you can see essentially the different areas that are focused on. You can see from an accountant journey, a communications manager journey, creating inclusive culture of trust, event planner journey, and so on and so forth. As I work through these, I can find the specific journey that I'm looking to go through and learn about. The way the journeys are set up allows me to look at the syllabus. So I can see here, this is a heavier lift than just taking a course. This is comprised of 36 courses, that's 15 hours, as well as 15 other items that comprise another 3 hours and 20 minutes of content. So as I work through these tracks, I open them up and I will see these specific courses aligned to this track. So this one specifically around customer relationships, As I start to work through this, I will see my progress as well as being able to earn the badge once I complete this. I find the course down here, I work through this content, and as I complete this content, it will start to, it will start to work through that different journey for me, to start to work through the different customer manager journey for me. Get back to my same screen here. All right, and then as I complete these tracks will complete. I'll earn my specific badges for these specific tracks. And as I complete this entire journey, then I'll earn my badge as well as a certificate for the journey as well. Optional resources will be listed down here for me. So usually it will be comprised of different audiobooks and books that aren't necessarily part of the required training, but are going to be additional resources for me that will align to this content. All right, and so then going back to the home screen, so the last thing I want to really highlight and talk about today is the My Learning section in here. So if you come in here, this is exactly where you can go to find the different content that you have been accessing, how you're progressing. So you can see here your completions, badges, certificates, any live learning I'm signed up for that I can find in here. I can find my learning activity here, find all my benchmarks. If I have any courses that I want to share with somebody else, so I have the ability to share courses with a peer and say, hey, this would be a great course for us to work through. You can actually do that and do that with a teammate, as well as finding notes and reflections, my achievements, digital badges, and completion certificates, as well as the ability to edit those skill interests when I first logged into the platform. And also recently released on our platform is an AI assistant, essentially allowing you to come in and chat with an AI assistant around specific topics to the platform. So anything outside of the platform, why is the sky blue, we just won't answer those types of questions. It's going to be things that are going to be focused around the content and the learning modalities on the platform. Will point me in the direction of that different content in different modalities based on how the conversation is progressing through. So those were the big things that I wanted to make sure I highlighted. Peter, what didn't I highlight that you would like me to make sure I go through for everybody?
Well, I'm going to let the people speak. If
Sure.
there's something that anyone's interested in, please just raise your hand or post it in the Q&A, and we'll let Will know, and he'll be able to answer your questions. This is a great opportunity because he is the subject matter expert.
I have a tendency to talk very fast, so I apologize if I went a little fast through some of it.
We'll give them a minute. Someone has asked about is having trouble logging in. I think they mean logging into Navigar with their password. And what I'll ask is just to be sure that you aren't copying and pasting the password in the email that we sent, which we call the activation email. Oh, actually, sorry, let me put myself back on screen. In the activation email that we sent, there's some instructions about not copying and pasting. I'm not really sure why, but that's pretty important. If the problem persists after that, please send us an email at navigar@pips.ca, and we'll be able to escalate to our IT team there. I'm going to answer some of these questions. We got a hand raised. Oh, here it is.
There are some questions in the chat, and I think we've had some questions all along about people asking again about that access path. So you get your Navigar activation, you activate it, then you go through Percipio, and then to go Fluent. We have a really fabulous PDF that shows you sort of that journey and access point. It might be worthwhile, since we have time, to show that, Peter, if you do have it handy.
I do. I'm going to let Aaron. Aaron has his hand up with the question, so I'm going to let Aaron, over to you.
Aaron is muted. I don't know if I don't know that he can unmute yourself, or if you have to unmute him, Peter.
Well, if I have to do it, we're all in big trouble. Oh, yep. Hang on. It looks like it's not me. Should be good, Aaron.
Sorry, I did realize I had my hand up. I don't have any questions at this time. Sorry.
Okay, very good. Okay, I'm going to get the document up. one thing, a couple of people have asked about Pluralsight, understandably. Pluralsight, we still have a tiny bit of hope we're going to hit December, but realistically, it's probably going to be January. Pluralsight will be accessible, same deal, log into Navigar, tell it what you're interested in. It'll set you up in Pluralsight. And it is the full Pluralsight catalog. And from what we understand, it does include the Cloud Guru series as well.
That's correct. It includes everything.
Yeah, excellent, Laura. Thank you. So that, I hope that takes care of the Pluralsight questions. I'll get this document up and share the screen.
And I see there's a question around how to find Power BI courses. So, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can search the library for Power BI content, but the most straightforward, just come up here to the search menu and type in Power BI, and it should come back with results. So you can find the different modalities, you can find the content, as well as an AI assisted response. So some of the content that you search for will actually give you an AI response, just kind of around what you're looking for, and give you some related searches based on historical searches on the platform as well. So that would be an easy way to search for Power BI content.
Thank you, Will. We're going to be tag teaming now, back and forth. Renee has a question. And Renee, have you all set? Yep. Just unmute and you'll be good to go.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm one of the few people, I think, that SSC gave us a license to Pluralsight, and we've been using it this year. I have a team that's also using it. We have a progress, we have a path established. Unfortunately, they're not renewing it because Navigar is taking over on it. So they're telling us as of tomorrow, December 5th, our license isn't being renewed. But they said that if we register with Navigar with our account on our current license, we should be able to pick it up again. Do you know about this? Is it possible?
Yes, I can speak to that, and I'm a bit surprised that that's the messaging that you've got. So I'm going to do the best I can to flag that up internally at Treasury Board, who we're partnered with the IT Training Fund. The conversations, I've had conversations with SSC, have been part of conversations rather, not just me personally. There is a way for an employee to transfer their history from one account to the other. Both accounts need to be live. So I was having these conversations with SSC and Pluralsight at the table. So the idea was that Pluralsight was supposed to provide an extension to your licenses for the month so that there's an overlap for when the Navigar Pluralsight instance is live. You transfer your history by entering a secondary email in your current instance, and then that will transfer the history over. In terms of the learning paths, those are called IDs, and those have to get transferred over by the department has to provide that to our team so that we can put that in the instance. Having said that, one of the directives we've provided to SSC is that the IT Training Fund and the spirit of the fund is very different than departmental training. As you might recall from messaging, this is supplemental training that's been made available to our members. And so one of the messages that has been conveyed out to departments is if you have plans that are administered by learning departments, then this isn't a replacement for that. This is an additional resource for your employees, but those plans managed by training leads, where they have that back-end access and they're managing everything. It's like an LMS, is not what this is going to be, because people won't have, outside of the Navigar team, will not have administrative back-end access to Pluralsight. So it's a little disconcerting to hear what you've been told, because I literally just met with everybody last week, and what was discussed was an extension, and that they would assess usage and use cases. So I'm very sorry to hear that that's what you've been told, and I'll communicate that through my channels to make sure that messaging is perhaps, hopefully you were just communicated something inaccurate.
I'm hoping that they that this changed since I talked to them, because I see the situation is very fluid. But I am concerned. Myself, I'm a team lead, so I started building path before my team started. We're a new group, and these people have been coming on and taking these courses, and I'd hate for them to lose the history
Yeah, no,
Yes.
and they can carry that over, but one of the things I confirmed with Pluralsight last week and has been conveyed, so your departmental heads would know this, is that the history can be transferred over, but you need to have two active accounts to be able to do that. So right now, the Navigar integration is being built as we speak. It's not live. So that was why the discussion was that SSC would extend their license with Pluralsight, even though it ends December 6th. There would be an
Yeah.
extension, and then SSC would need to go through their usage and determine which block will stay, and they'll renew, and then which block they're like, okay, you can move over to Navigar. So my suggestion, I'm going to put my email in the chat. So actually, I don't know if oh yeah, can I? Let me see. I might not be able to. You might need to do this, Peter.
Yeah, Renee has a question in the
Yeah,
Q&A
if you
where you
can
could
put
answer
my
here.
email in the chat. So Renee, I'll ask that you email me the details so that I can
Okay.
escalate this accordingly, rather than
Yeah.
just say someone said. It'll be better if it's grounded in some person who can speak to the situation. So thank you.
Agreed. Okay, thank you. No, what it was is that they did specify if it was IT people, we switched to the Navigar system. Anybody else, they'll retain it. That was the information I got from them, but I
Yeah,
will
and
send you the
that's
details.
not, yeah, and that's not entirely accurate. As you can tell, it's a little more nuanced than that, and it's not as of December 6th. So it'll be helpful to convey what your experience is, and I can sort of push that up the chain, if you
Okay,
will.
thank you. I
Yeah,
will
you're
write to
welcome.
you. It'll probably come from my can I send it to you from my work email?
Whichever email is your preference is fine. Yeah,
Oh, okay. I'll use my work email just because I'll have all the details on that computer and
that's
transfer it
perfect.
over to you.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time.
No, pleasure.
Renee. We have a question from Robert. Just before I unleash you, Robert, this question of payment. So we want to make clear, Navigar is free for all PIPS members. This training within it costs money, and it's paid for only for members of the IT group through the training fund that was negotiated into your collective agreement. So we want to set the expectation. These courses may not be free for PIPS members in other groups, but we're going to do our best. We're going to use our size and our clout to negotiate the best possible rate. But we just want to position this properly. Robert, over to you. Just need to unmute. You're all set.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for putting this together. So quick question. I see on a screen, this question is about certifications and different certification paths you might be offered. Myself, I'm more interested in cloud certifications, so with vendors like AWS and Azure. I see there's labs. So question about that. Are the labs actually kind of real labs where you can actually access those environments and you can provision, resources and kind of, and then destroy them? And also, do you offer practice tests for those certifications?
Yeah, absolutely. So, always kind of navigating blindly is always a little dangerous. But to answer your first question around the labs, yes. So they're a remote computer that you would log into, a virtual machine that you would log into, allow you to work through various different scenarios that align to the content on that certification. But just clicking into here to kind of show you how it's laid out. So the content's laid out the same way, right? So the same channels. I can log into this one specifically. Actually, not that one. I'll go back here real quick. Sorry. I can find here. So here's the content around Cloud Practitioner. I can see essentially what this all aligns to and basically all the information I need for the certification, as well as where I need if I need an AWS free tier account. I can find the content. Here's where I'll find those practice labs. So you can see here's a test prep for that specifically. And then we do have a boot camp around this. So that live attendance, I can access that live class from here as well. So that's kind of how that's laid out, and I can find all that information. But for the lab piece, yeah, it's a virtual machine that you log into and have all the resources on there that you need.
Thank you.
Will, I'm going to take over and show the screen for a second and just show everybody this document.
Sure. Let me stop sharing. Go for it.
Before you do that, Peter, if you can share my email in the chat,
Done.
please, so I can. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Wonderful. Thanks so much.
One sec. Sorry, everybody. Here we go. So this is the access document that we're linking to. I'm not going to go through it. I'm not going to read off the screen to you. It's the most annoying kind of presentation, but you can see the steps. It's how to access Navigar. And of course, that starts with the activation emails that we've been sending out. If you're having trouble with it with your login, again, just don't copy and paste the password. Put it in a text document to strip away any formatting and then do it, or manually type it. If you're having any trouble, please send us an email at navigar@pips.ca, and we'll handle it there. So that you can see in the document. So you've got how to access Navigar, then how to log into Percipio for the first time, but then also as a returning user. And that'll get you into Percipio, and then from there, how to access GoFluent. There have been a couple of questions about GoFluent that I think are a level of detail we aren't equipped to answer right now. So I'll ask you, we do have a recorded GoFluent webinar that we had a week or two ago, and I'll put a link to that in the chat. With that said, I'm going to hand it back to you, Will.
Really quickly, while Will is sharing his screen again, I wanted just to mention that because we've got a lot of questions around, I haven't received my Navigar activation. So yesterday we sent a big batch job of password resets. So that meant you got an activation during our first pass, you didn't activate your account. So we resent that out yesterday. So you should have received something. It would have been yesterday afternoon. It would check your spam. If it's not in your inbox or in your spam, then you need to email us at navigar@pips.ca. Another question we've received a lot of is you changed your email at some point. So if you gave us changed your preferred email address before the first activation email went out, we were able to change it. Once an activation email goes out from a system perspective, it's sort of hard-coded to that email, and we need to undo that and put in a new email address. So if you've already provided us a new email address, and it was after that initial activation email went out to you, we have your name, and we're putting together a batch job of those folks that provided us an updated email address, and you will be receiving that perhaps in the next week or so. I don't know the exact timelines because our dev team just came back to us with the solution. The other thing I wanted to add is if you are a new hire and you're not in our membership database, that would be another delay. We can't force that. We have to wait for the government to update our membership, and then you go into our database, and then you can flow into this process. So that's a caveat. We don't have a lot of control over it, but that is a back end process that might be resulting in a delay at times if you're not showing up to our database. And Salah, you had your hand up.
Sorry, that was a mistake.
Okay, great. So I just wanted to add that because there were a lot of questions around that kept popping up. So I thought it would be good just to sort of address the audience. So you all had that information. Thanks.
Will, two things for you. We've been asked about SAP.
Yep.
If there's software, if there's training on that. And someone has asked if you could go back to the product management part again, please.
Yep, absolutely. There was one thing I wanted to show real quick first in regards to certifications, as well as some additional content that we have in here. So something that's just now releasing in the Percipio platform, brand new, is some of these certification paths, right? So one of the things we've always been asked by our learners, and one of the things that some of our learners have had difficulty with, is working through a certification path, right? Understanding the requirements, all the steps that included, and all of the resources and things that they need to be aware of that they might not necessarily. So here's an example of one that we have recently updated back to the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner. You can see the certifying organization, the exam number, what the exam level is, the format. So you get some information around the exam. You get information around the certification specifically, as well as details, right? So the requirements, what's the certification fee look like through AWS for this? And we'll learn more about the exam specifically, as well as working through the actual syllabus. So you can see it's comprised of benchmarks and courses through these different sections, similar to those learning journeys, all focused around specifically this certification. I can basically work through this certification path just like I would one of those learning journeys. The other thing that I really wanted to highlight through this is here for about the Ask a Mentor. So for some of the content on our platform, specifically a lot of the certification content, we actually have mentors that are available to you free of charge. So you can reach out to them, you can chat with somebody, or you can email a mentor around this specific certification. Ask them questions about the exam, ask them questions about the certification itself, ask them questions, around things along this topic. Basically, always make sure that you have an expert resource around these areas to be able to communicate with. So there's a question in there I saw just pop up around IDLE. So, so we do offer IDLE certification. PeopleCert has kind of changed the game in regards to how their certifications are offered. So it's not part of a standard collection, but kind of a one-off thing that you would have to kind of work through with Navigar through. But essentially, they bundle the package in a way that we can't offer the content on the platform like we do with a lot of the other certifications. All right, so I know there's a question around SAP. We don't have a ton on our platform. Be honest, that might be something that Pluralsight's looking to provide a little bit more than what we offer around SAP. But again, same type of way you would look for it. Do a keyword search. You can find that, you can see we do have a channel here. There's, I think, one course in this channel, as well as things around SAP solutions. But the nice thing is you can filter. When you look at the filter, you can actually see the number of resources aligned to that keyword search that you looked for. It's only going to bring back results that have results. So you'll never see something with a 0 next to it, but it's only going to show you the courses that are available for that competency. So, certainly something like this, right? Probably more specific, you would want to be able to navigate to find exactly what you're looking for. But to find the SAP content that we would support on the platform, you can simply do a keyword search to find that. And then to go back to the product management, so navigate to the library to do that one. Go here to product management area, and now I can start to navigate into that specific content. So product management skills and product management. And here will bring me to the product management channel. So I can see all the different modalities, the watch, read, listen, practice, and assess all of the different modalities and things that we offer for this platform. So here you go, here's an AI simulator around this, and the courses, books, audiobooks, and so on and so forth.
Thank you, Will. We've got a question about Drupal and UX.
I'd have to look, so we don't have a lot of standard content for that currently. So I can check on our roadmap, and then I can follow up with Laura and Peter and let them know what we might have. Yep.
Very good. Okay.
So
Wow.
last but not least, and one thing, sorry, just real quick, I wanted to highlight. So if you're a learner and you're in here and you're having a technical issue, there's something with the platform that's not working correctly, specifically in Percipio, you can actually navigate down here to a help section. We have a get started documentation as well as a knowledge base, has all of the information all about Percipio, highlight what's new. You can also open a support ticket, or you can live chat with one of our agents around the Percipio platform or the content specifically if you're having any sort of technical issue. So resources are always available to you as a learner.
Thank you, Will. Okay, I think Will's done. We'll give a couple more minutes if you have any questions. Again, this webinar is being recorded. It will be available on that page that I included in the chat, the training sessions in our support pages. We've tried to build fairly robust support for you. So please do check our FAQs if you're having trouble. If the answer isn't there, please contact us at navigar@pips.ca. This group has been staggering. This is a new record in the number of questions we've been asked. So thank you all very much. Very much appreciate the engagement. We very much would love to hear what you're thinking about Navigar, good and bad. We know there's not a lot of bad, but sure, let's pretend there is. So we want to hear both. If there's something that you don't like, then we can start gathering this information together and start looking about making improvements. If there's something that you do like, we understand. It tells us again, it's still good news to us where we're going and how we're doing it. So we very much would appreciate that by email at navigar@pips.ca. Thank you.
And I just wanted to add, though, for those in regards to that, we will be sending out pulse surveys regularly. We're going to send the first one out once Pluralsight has also been added to the training bundle, since that's really the fulsome experience in regards to the IT training fund. So just also be aware that that will be something regular, just really short surveys to get a read and provide you with a vehicle for providing us feedback. But if you want to do it at any time, you can also email us, as Peter said.
Yeah, and I saw real quick, I saw the question around what are the Aspire journeys. And so just to highlight those again, those are the curated learning paths that we offer on the platform, allow a learner to really get a good understanding and advance their knowledge around specific areas. So example, Pythonista to Python master, and the curated path that will allow a learner to progress along that path.
Thank you, Will.
Mhm.
There's a question about ITIL again.
Yeah, so no, unfortunately, we don't have anything specifically for ITIL certification.
Thank you, Will.
Mhm.
I suppose that will be coming in Pluralsight. Because again,
Yeah, I mean, just to, in terms of expectations, the reason that there's the selection of Percipio, Skillsoft, and Pluralsight is to really provide a breadth of training. So obviously, Pluralsight is going to be technology heavy and technology centric. I know they have some growth skills, but it's minimal. And then on the inverse with Percipio Skillsoft, you're getting a broad breadth of scope of growth skills or other non-technical skills. And there is also some technology as well. So there's a reason behind these two distinct offerings, so they can provide you with the most fulsome training options and opportunities.
Yeah, these growth skills, I saw a term the other day, was called human skills. And
Human
skills
skills,
that
sure.
make us better humans. It's about better listening and building collaboration and empathy and things that help you. These are the soft skills, is what they used to be called, that are becoming so critical in this future world of work. So please don't wait for Pluralsight. There's all kinds of value here in what Percipio has got for you. And we've got to give a shout out to Mark Benoit, runs the Facebook page for the IT group. If you haven't signed up, it's got all kinds of stuff on it. Some of it's about Navigar. So we'd like you to encourage you to be part of that. And I think that's about it. We've got a question. Oh, someone's asking about cybersecurity, Will.
I am
So
answering
again,
that question. Okay, sure. Go ahead.
yeah, I just did another quick keyword search just to show you, right? So here's the modalities, all the different content we have aligned to cybersecurity. So yeah, there's a lot in here.
Super. Thank you, Will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everyone. I think we're done. Feel free to answer a question while I'm talking. This has been recorded, will be up on the website in a couple of days. Thank you all very much for your time, and thank you for these questions, because this has been great. You've been you've been a great audience, as they used to say on TV. And with that, Will, thank you very, very much for your time in doing this. It's a very robust platform. There's so much here. So we hope, we do this for you, our members. So we hope that you see the value in this and you get the value out of it. And we'll say thank you and see you in Navigar. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate the time.
Thank
Have a great
you.
day.
Bye, everyone.